Hey, all my friends, relatives, and cousins. Today is Sunday, November 16th, and I'm doing this video, but this video is really not for you. But you can look in and watch if you like. The reason I'm saying this is I talk to a lot of people and I tell them that I set up my charts for the upcoming week. And that's what I'm doing in this video. I'm going to set up my charts for the upcoming week, and you can look in if you like. Save this video for future use if and when you get involved with the markets. So, without further ado, let's go. As you see right now, I'm on a 1 minute chart. I'm sorry, a 1 hour chart from last week, but I'm going to change that since it's going to be the next week coming up. I'm changing this chart to a weekly chart. So as you guys can see, this is now weekly. Okay, let's see if we can get this to move and open up for us. And here we go. Now I've opened up the weekly chart, and the weekly chart looks like this. And when I say a weekly chart, remember, for those of you watching and that are going to use this for future reference, this is last week. The candle that I'm pointing to is the last weeks of activity. This is how high it was. This is how low it was for last week. So now I'm preparing for next week. I'm going to take the high. Let's remove this line because that's as high as it went last week. And I'm going to move this line right to here. So that means Friday, November the 14th, that's how high the market went in the SPY. I'm looking at the SPY. And you notice that I already have it marked. So it's going to say last week's high because that was last Friday. I'm also going to get rid of some of my other little indicators here. This will not count anymore. So I'm taking that out. This support and resistance line will not count anymore. I'm taking that out. This support and resistance line will not count anymore. I'm taking that out. I'm removing this support line. And I am putting in this line right here, which is last week's low. And you see I have that solid red line. So I have a solid red line for last week's low, and I have a solid green line for last week's high. Now, any color, that's arbitrary. You can put in any color you like, but that's the colors that I use for this. So a solid green, high of last week, solid red for the low of last week. Now I go down to the daily chart. So as you guys are looking at this, you see this is, again, the line for last week's high. This is the red line for last week's low. And this is Friday's high and low candle, that particular day. So I'm going to remove that, remove a few of these indicators. Trying to get it to go out for me. Okay, let's remove that. Let's remove this support and resistance line. And now I use a dotted lines for my daily. Now the weekly chart, those high and low lines will not have to be changed again until next week, because that is the high and low of the previous week. As I put in the daily high, This dotted line right here goes right to here for the last daily candle. These will have to be changed every day because every day is going to be 5 days of trading next week. Now I put in this. As you notice, that's the same as last week's low. So it goes right in here. So now I have the high and low of Friday, the last daily candle. And now I also have the high and the low of last week. So I'm preparing myself to see which way the market will go next week. After that, now we switch and go down one more time. And I go down to an hourly chart. And here we are with the hourly chart. This is the last hour of last week. So that's the last hour of Friday. And I'm going to put in my indicator here is a dotted blue line. This is the high of the last hour of last week. And I'm going to make the low and put that in the last hour. Low of last week is right there. Now I am prepared. I'm prepared for next week's activity. That's how I do it. And as you can see, I can go back and now we are all updated. We are updated not only on the hourly chart, but over here on my lower time frame chart, which happens to be a 1 minute time frame right now. So I can change that as we go, as the week starts off. But now I have the indicators or my support and resistance lines all ready to go for next week. And now, come Monday morning, we will see where everything is stacking up, and I can make a decision on Monday as to whether or not I'm going to go for call options, which I think the market is going to go up, or if I'm going to go for put options, where I think the market is going to go down for that particular day. And I do this on a daily basis. We've already got our lines in for last week, and we can determine whether or not it's going to go higher next week, or if it's going to go lower next week, or stay somewhere in the middle. But we have our trading ranges all lined up. I'm ready to go, and that's it for me. That took what, 5 or 6 minutes out of my life, and I'm ready for next week. So I hope this is helpful, even though this video was not for you. It's only for those that are trying to learn how to trade, and it's definitely for me because that's what I do each week to get myself set up for the upcoming week. So share this video if you'd like to with your friends, relatives, and cousins, and look for another video coming soon. Take care.